and they might be able to invest £6 million in 60 different projects. But most of the people I've met could never in a million years do that. And I just wondered, from the people that you meet, do you get a good spread of different companies of different sizes, and almost do they all have the same kind of value set, or do you get people that are different at different kind of tiers?
We do have a very broad range of clients. We've got small companies that we work with, and that sort of the if you like smaller scales, almost startup scale up businesses. Then you go into that sort of, if you like, that middle tier. But then we work right up to organisations like Mercedes and Shell, Lloyd's Corporation, others like that, as well as NHS and all sorts. So right sort of top to bottom, I suppose. And I think in a funny way, the military background helps you deal with that, because when you've been going through the military and been in the military for quite a while, like I was 19 years, you see everything from a sort of a four-person team perspective that you're in, all the way up to a strategic governmental level. So you kind of have an ability, I think, to be able to interpret and to adapt and to recognize some of the challenges that the different organizations are in.
Yeah.
There are definitely some common areas across all of them, but I think it's probably for me, it's when you hit that sort of, 30 to 50 staff members and above, team members and above, where I think I can start to add a lot of benefit. Because if you're smaller than that, a lot of what I'm talking about is how to enable the organization, the planning within the organization, et cetera, and how to enable the cultures and the leadership and the teamwork and everything else. Now, if you are only operating in an organization where there's only 3 of you or 4 of you, then yes, it can still help and still advise, but it's not essentially is going to be as useful as for somebody else coming in that space. So I think there are commonalities between most of the organizations, which is we know what we want to achieve, but we're kicking the can down the road a little bit and deferring decisions. And a lot of organizations find it challenging to get the organization to really work in a kind of like a matrix, multidisciplinary way.
Yeah.
A lot of them are still working in stovepiped areas, stovepipe departments, and struggling to get those to talk to one another. So lots of those are essentially exactly the same. And once you go to the scale question, up or down, it's just a question of how big the problem is, depending on the scale.
Yeah, a lot of the literature talks about basically teams or societies or people of over 150 people is almost when you start to find the cracks, because it's at the point where historically, say in a tribe, where you can't know everyone, and then it starts to break down and sub-segment. But I say fortunately, most of the companies where I've worked in the past are below that level. But it's almost, again, when I set up on my own, you gradually find your niche. So I now know that my niche is actually in that sub 150 person kind of level.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just, I don't often get to talk this through with someone, so I find it quite interesting.